Hello everyone, welcome to my newest Let's Play, Volchan World, which is actually just a hack of Rockman's World, the first Game Boy Mega Man game released. This game, well first I'll describe the hack. What the hack just basically does is it takes the Mega Man sprite and switches it out with Roll, his sister, the housekeeping robot. So, I just think Roll's a pretty cool character. So just change it up a little bit here. But otherwise, nothing else has changed. Difficulty is still the same. All the enemies are still placed in the same place. So yeah, the only thing is the aesthetic of the character that you're using. So this game uses assets from basically Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2 from the NES. And it's a formula that's going to be recycled in all the Game Boy Mega Man games up to Mega Man 5. Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, we use the remaining 4 Robot Masters from Mega Man 2 not used in this one, and then use 4 from Mega Man 3. Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy, we'll use the remaining 4 robots from Mega Man 3, and then throw in 4 from Mega Man 4. And then Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, we'll use the remaining 4 robots from Mega Man 4, not used in Mega Man 3 Game Boy, and throw in 4 from Mega Man 5 for the Nintendo. But the only one that I ever had was this one here, Mega Man 1. I remember I got it for Christmas when I was a kid, and I remember waking up in the morning, opening it up, and just having a good time with it. So now it's a little bit harder, I'd say, than the Mega Mans on the Nintendo. Like Mega Man 1 for the Nintendo, this one doesn't have energy refills, the energy tanks, so basically your life bar is all you got. Your life bar is also shorter. In the Mega Man games for the Nintendo, the life bar is 28 units long. In this one, it's only 19, so you'll obviously take less hits to be defeated. Also, the screen, because it's a handheld game, is much smaller than playing on your regular TV. So dodging enemies can be a little bit harder because everything's more compact. Everything's more squished together. So you don't have as much room to dodge. So that can be a little bit more difficult. So it also makes some of the platforming a little bit tougher, but it's still a manageable game. So I'm gonna try to show you some tricks on how to manage it. So, some of the weaknesses, most of the weaknesses are the same, but they did change some of the weaknesses because, obviously, they don't have all 6 of the robots in. So, for instance, here, Cutman is actually weak to the Fireman's weapon, whereas in the original game, he was weak to Gutsman's weapon, and the fire weapon was used against Bomb Man. But otherwise, the weaknesses are the same. The cut boomerang will be used against Elec Man. Elec Man's beam will be used against Iceman, and Iceman's beam will be used against Fireman. So, this game is also kind of short. I know I mentioned about there's 4 robots from Mega Man 1, and then there's going to be 4 robots from Mega Man 2 in it later on. But those 4 robots from Mega Man 2 don't have their own stages, so here's our first robot boss, Cutman. I guess he is afraid that girls have cooties, because if you try to get close to him, he basically jumps over you. So you want to kind of run toward him. If he stops, shoot him with some pellets. If he jumps over you, just keep running under him. If you hesitate while you're running under him, he'll land on you and do some good contact damage. But overall, Cutman's not too hard. So he's a good robot to start out with. Not only because he's not that hard to defeat with just your regular cannon, but his rolling cutter is actually a very good weapon. We're going to get a lot of use out of it. So, we're going to switch back to Elec Man here now. Use the rolling cutter on him. And it's very similar to the stage in the regular NES game. It's going to be mainly vertical climbing, and we're going to have a bunch of these Yoku disappearing blocks. So, just be careful there with that first little screen there because the Yoku blocks are over instant death spikes, so watch out of them. The rest of the Yoku blocks just mainly over like sections here where you'll just fall down to the screen below, so, which I just did right there. So just keep in mind where the electrical beams are coming out, so that if you do mess up on the Yoku block pattern and you fall down to the screen below, you're not going to land on one of those electric beams. So you can just slow the video down there and count. It's usually about like 3 seconds between when a block appears, which usually ain't much of a problem, except for sometimes the blocks will appear like above you, so you got to be jumping in the air to land on it when it appears. So this one can also be a little bit tricky because they have this fan here blowing. It basically functions like one of the fan fiends from Mega Man 2, where it pushes you away, but unlike the fan fiend in Mega Man 2, we can't destroy that. We just have to deal with it. So yeah, a lot of the assets for this stage are gonna be lifted from Airman stage. So they basically combined, you know, a lot of stuff from Airman stage with the vertical scrolling in Elec Man stage to come with this kind of hybrid stage. So we got these Cloud Lords from Mega Man 2, taken from Airman stage, and it fits pretty nice because, you know, Elec Man stage was kind of vertical and you're climbing high into the sky, so it makes sense to have, you know, Airman stuff which took place entirely in the sky. So it's a nice fit. I will give the developers credit for this. They really used assets, recycled the assets from the 2 games and made them fit like really together. We'll see like some Heatman stuff and some Quickman stuff thrown in for Fireman stage. Like I said, they really nice Airman and Elec Man incorporated here. So yeah, it's I think they did a good job incorporating things. So let's take our time here. Take out these little eyeballs. I think they're called Little Susies. So sometimes there's Big Susies in future Mega Man games for the Game Boy, but they're like mini bosses. So just watch the fan there blowing the thing in. Got these Mells, or sometimes they're called Hard Hat Hooligans. So I like the alliteration, the Hard Hat Hooligans. If your energy is kind of low, be sure to pick it up, because once again we're going to be using the rolling cutter here against Elec Man. I mentioned earlier about this game is a little bit harder. Another thing that seems to make this game harder is they seem very stingy with energy drops. It's very rare that you'll get an energy drop for your health. The weapon energy drops seem to be pretty common, so running out of special weapon energy doesn't ever seem to be an issue. So feel free to use your special weapons, because they're definitely much better than your regular pea shooter. So in most Mega Man games you can kind of get away with just using your pea shooter, but I guess because of the smaller screen and the more difficulty in clearing out enemies, usually the special weapons are a lot better at dealing with things. So Cutter Boomerang is probably your second best weapon to take care of these guys, because it kind of does a lot of damage as it passes through the big eye monsters. The best weapon to do it is the Bubble Lead, but we won't get that until we defeat the Mega Man 2 bosses, and I'll talk about them in a little bit. But first, let's head down here, take on our second boss, Elec Man. Like the NES version, he's weak to the cutter, and he takes 3 shots, and he's done. So I mentioned, I'll talk about the Mega Man 2 bosses, and I briefly touched on them earlier. There's going to be 4 in this game. We're going to have Flash Man, Quick Man, Bubble Man, and Heat Man. We don't have stages for them, though. They're basically just going to be in a teleportation room like in Mega Man 2. The second to last stage in that game, there's that teleportation room where there's 8 teleporters, each one took you to a different boss. So in that sense, we won't have to fight stages for those 4 robots. We'll just have to fight them individually, like one right after another. Got these little skull guys back again. So I was a little preoccupied there at the beginning there. My dog was jumping on my lap, so I had to take care of him. But this stage has a few energy refills at it. This stage is probably the hardest of the initial 4, mainly because of ice physics. The ground there, you can see, is covered in snow, and it makes the ground really slippy. You can let go of the D-pad and your character will slide. which makes it really tough some jumps, because, you know, you don't get traction. So you can slide before you hit the A button, you might fall into a pit, or you'll be trying to get to the edge so you can make a jump, and you'll have to do like little tap jumps to work your way to the edge so you can be able to make the jump. So, and they always throw these little spikes underneath to make the jumps a little bit even harder. So, but we just inch our way forward and make our way. But yeah, this is mainly, like I said, there's a lot of hazards, and they're compounded in difficulty by the snow and the slippy ice. We will use the ice though to our advantage here to make our way to this ladder. Just gotta avoid the falling icicles. Now this one is really tough. You kind of gotta, there's an icicle that's gonna come down here, and normally what you do is you jump on that one, then jump up before that one falls, jump over to the far one on the left, and then work your way back over. But even jumping from those two blocks, those two icicles, is sometimes really tough to make it across that gap. So I prefer just to take damage. Unlike Mega Man 1 for the Nintendo, there is mostly frames. So if you get hit, take damage, you're blinking, and while you're blinking, if you land the spikes, you won't take the fatal damage from the spikes, unlike in Mega Man 1. So it's more like Mega Man 2 in that regard, where you can have the invincibility thing. So this is the tricky part. It's tough to take care of these guys. I'm going to pull on my left beam there. There's no toothpaste enemies. They try to push into the pit there, so. And it's tough to gain your footing there. These platforms are very narrow and slippy, so. Thankfully the stage though is almost over. So if you need energy, you can you know, farm from these toothpaste guys. But like I said, energy is pretty stingy in this game. As you can see, we've been defeating quite a few enemies and rarely got any energy drops. So, but thankfully, Iceman is basically kind of weak, just like he was in the NES game. 3 Elec beams will take him out, and he follows the same pattern. Might be a little tougher to dodge because smaller, more condensed screen, but we just jump over the lows, slide under the highs, and we take Iceman out. And we are 75% of the way through our initial robot masters. So, get the Ice Slasher, and we'll use that to take out our last boss, Fireman. So, this can also be a somewhat tricky stage. Not as tricky as Iceman though, because we don't have to worry about the ice physics. But it's similar to Iceman in that there's a lot of platforming. We're going to be jumping from little platform to little platform, and instead of avoiding spikes, we'll be avoiding lava. So, start us off easy though in this little corridor. Just take out these little Susie enemies and then drop down. So, here's where the Elec beam comes in handy because it shoots down in that little T pattern so you can hit enemies beneath you. So, that's good. Eventually we'll get the bubble lead, which is a very strong weapon that can hit enemies beneath us too, but like I said, we won't get that until we fight the Mega Man 2 bosses. And we fight them in Wily's Fortress. So, Wily's Fortress, this game is, like I said, smaller, you know, in screen size and robot masters. Wily's Fortress is also smaller. It's going to consist of basically 2 stages. In those stages, they're going to add something new that's going to follow in all the other Mega Man games that follow on the Game Boy. The addition of a new custom-created robot. Starting with Mega Man 2, the Capcom, the Japanese company that created Mega Man and made the games, they started getting fan input for, they were holding contests so that fans could design their upcoming robot masters. So, with these Mega Man games, the creator, Keiji Inufune, I hope I pronounced that right, he finally got to make his own robot master again. And so he started making these things called the Mega Man Killers, and they're basically just like a one-off robot that appears in, you know, the individual game. They all brought back though for Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. But they're basically a special robot that we haven't seen before, and he usually gives you a power-up that is going to be necessary to defeat Dr. Wily. It's only in Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy that you don't necessarily need to use the power-up from the Mega Man Killer to defeat Dr. Wily. But in this game, the Mega Man Killer is going to be called Anchor, which goes back to the musical motif of the games. I mentioned in the Mega Man 1 playthrough that I did that in Japan, Mega Man is known as Rock, his sister is Rock and Roll, and then there's a few other robots that have musical motifs. Like in Mega Man 3, you have Breakman, which in Japan is known as Blues. And then in Mega Man 7, they introduced bass and treble. In this game, the Mega Man Killer is Anchor, and that's named after the Japanese genre Enki, which is kind of like a traditional Japanese type ballad music. So yeah, he finally got to create his own monsters, robots. I guess they can be considered monsters with the Game Boy games. So we got these hothead enemies from Quickman stage, which they I guess really didn't fit in Quickman stage, but they fit here good in the Fireman stage. So once again, it goes back to, like I said, they seem to really utilize assets from the two games to thematically appropriately. So ice, like in the first game, can freeze enemies, so freeze these hotheads, and then you can just pound away with your roll cannon or your Mega Buster. Fireman actually I think is a little easier in this one than he was in the NES version. He fires a lot slower, so it's easier to jump over his things, and because he has a lower hit bar, only 19 health, just like you, he takes less shots to defeat. So, and with that, we've defeated our 4th Robot Master. In addition to getting the 4th Robot Master's power, whenever you defeat the 4th Robot Master, no matter which one it is, you get the carry item. And we'll explain what the carry item does in our next episode when we attack Dr. Wily's fortress. Take care, have a good day. Bye!